Speaker. A speaker, no. I mean, yeah. I thought it was gonna come with, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, they might be like, there may be one in the car.
It is my Johnson, he should go with the talk. Oh, you was? Yes.
Do you want your speakers to hold the microphone, or do you want them to just talk?
Yeah, we should have them just to make it.
Thanks. All right. Good morning, everybody. Is this on, Patrick? Oh, it's not amplified. I got it. Okay, yeah, no, let's hear it. Yeah, I'm ready.
Save the ACA.
CA. Save the ACA. Save the ACA. Save the ACA. Save the ACA. Save the ACA.
Save the ACA.
All right, everybody. We are here this morning with some good news. We are one step closer to actually saving our health care in this country. Woo! My name is Jennifer Flynn Walker, and I'm the co-chief of the campaigns team and the Fight Back team at Popular Democracy. And I am honored to be here among these fighters who have been here week in and week out, speaking their pain, turning it into power, telling the truth about healthcare in the United States to the decision makers. And some of those decision makers have listened, and we now have the ability to actually have a vote, hopefully, if all goes well this afternoon, on the Affordable Care Act very, very soon, maybe even today. We even got some Republicans to sign on to the discharge petition to make that happen. Because everybody, this is a bipartisan issue, everybody in this country is struggling to be able to afford health care. I am very honored to be able to welcome and thank Representative Debbie Dingell, who is from Michigan, who has provided us with this space. I'm also honored to thank our co-sponsors for today, Fair Share America, Economic Security Project, Public Citizen, Voices of Healthcare, Protect Our Care, Arkansas Community Organization, Spaces in Action, Rights and Democracy, Vermont and New Hampshire, Maine People's Alliance, Vocal, and we have Hill Champions from Ohio and Hill Champions from Florida with us. Thank you. All right. I am going to welcome Donna Davis, who is a Hill Champion and an Affordable Care Act recipient from Florida. All right, Donna. Thank you so much, Donna.
Thank you.
You look great.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. I'm standing here today because something has gone terribly wrong with what we call affordable government health care. My health care premiums, my Affordable Health Care Act premiums, are about to jump from $870 a month to $1,300 a month on January 1st. This is not a cost of living increase. This is not inflation. That represents a 50% increase in a basic human necessity. And it gets worse. Not only will I be paying dramatically more, but I will be getting less. On my current PPO plan, a colonoscopy is covered at 100%, but the removal of a polyp, something that prevents colon cancer, is covered at 0%. This year, my annual CT scan and calcium test cost me over $2,000 out of pocket. in coinsurance. Next year, that coinsurance will be even higher. My heart medication is another example. My plan only covers 45% of it. The full copay is $230 a month. When I was working in Minnesota, two hardworking pharmacists at St. Louis Costco, Laurel and Nicole, went out of their way to help me get that medication under a manufacturer's coupon for $15 a month. I want to thank them publicly because without their help, I would have had a very difficult choice to make. If you haven't been keeping track, my total annual cost for medical care is over $17,500 cash, and that is with insurance, and I'm just one person. My spouse is a 100% permanently and totally disabled veteran, someone who served this country, who is fighting 2 active cancers. He requires weekly blood transfusions to stay alive, weekly. And we are still crushed by costs, buried under coinsurance, navigating a system that seems designed to exhaust us rather than support us. That is what passes for affordable health care in the United States of America. You don't have to be an economist or a policy expert to understand the truth. When regular working people are paying a mortgage-sized bill for basic health care, something is deeply broken. Health care is not a luxury. Healthcare is a privilege. It's not a privilege for the wealthy. Healthcare is not something you should have to fight for, beg for, crowdfund for, or go into debt for. Healthcare is a human need, and it must be treated as such. If the system continues down this path, people will skip medications, people will skip preventative screenings, people will delay care until it is too late, and that will cost all of us, financially, morally, and in human lives. Rob Reiner issued a stern warning, and we do great honor to his memory if we heed his call. Silence in the face of authoritarianism is complicity. Speaking out is a patriotic act. Democracy does not defend itself. It requires participation, vigilance, and courage from ordinary people. I am raising my voice today not just for myself, not just for my husband, but for every family in this country who is one diagnosis away from financial ruin. No American should be bankrupted to stay alive. We deserve better. We demand better. And we are not going to stop speaking out until we get the health care we were promised, and the one every person in a civilized society deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Save the ACA. 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 Woo! The last time that Trump was in power, one of the first things that he and members of his party in Congress wanted to do was to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And it was a people-powered movement. Many of these folks behind me were there telling their story, coming in all the time to DC, going to their local representatives' offices, going to town halls, and demanding that they save the Affordable Care Act. One of those incredibly brave people is our next speaker, Laura Packard, who is from Virginia and who is a recipient of the Affordable Care Act, who also has led the fight to save the Affordable Care Act and was successful under the first Trump administration. And I actually think she might be successful again under this one. So let's hear it for Laura Packard.
Thanks. My name is Laura Packard. I'm a small business owner in Alexandria, Virginia, and I'm here because the Affordable Care Act saved my life. 8 years ago, I walked into a doctor's office with a nagging cough and walked out with a stage 4 cancer diagnosis. Thankfully, I had good insurance through the Affordable Care Act that paid for the 6 months of chemotherapy and month of radiation treatments it took for me to be here in remission today. But that wasn't my only fight, because the day after my first chemotherapy appointment, while I was on the couch trying not to die, that's when Republicans in the U.S. House voted to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which was keeping me alive. And here we are again, 8 years later, and there are people around the country going through what I went through 8 years ago. People that are in the middle of treatment that will lose their insurance next year because they cannot afford it. I personally have insurance through the Affordable Care Act, and my premiums are going up 21% next year. I am paying a Trump tax of over $1,000 next year to keep my insurance. And I can't go without, as a cancer survivor, I can't go without health insurance. But there are so many people that will have to go without insurance because they can't afford it. Congress chose this summer to give tax breaks to billionaires like Elon Musk so they could buy more spaceships. And they also chose not to make our health care more affordable. Well, we're here today to say, think again, make a better choice. Save the Affordable Care Act. Thank you.
ACA! Save the ACA! Save the ACA!
Save the ACA. Now. Save the ACA. Now. Save the ACA.
Now, all right. There, as I said before, there is no greater champion for health care in Congress than our next speaker, who is here, who understands that we've got to do things in stages. So she is here fighting like hell to save the Affordable Care Act, and she has also been the lead fighter for a healthcare system that is actually universal for everybody, one that you don't have to get your insurance through your employer. If you're unemployed, you get insurance. If you're employed, you get insurance. The system of Medicare for all that just makes sense. It's my honor to introduce our next speaker, Representative Debbie Dingell from Michigan.
Thank you. And it was great to hear from a former, are you a constituent? Sometimes a constituent.
I'm always a Michigan.
But I remember when she got sick. I'm going to start to cry. And the challenges that she faced and how scared she was. And I'm in a mixed mood right now because can I tell you how many people told me that we would never get Republicans to sign the Democratic discharge petition, and we did. I knew they would. They gave me their word, and they did, because they know that their constituents are hurting and that they cannot leave them without health care. So they'll lose many things. So I stand here now. I do not think that the United States Congress should go home, and the House should not go home until we vote on a discharge petition that now has the signatures to ensure that the Affordable Care Act tax credits are extended. You know, I'm standing here, I'm surrounded by people that this makes a difference to. What we really don't understand is that for many people, this is life and death right now. Or people, I'll tell you a couple of stories from people at home. I have a mother who's she's not quite a mother, she is, the baby's in her, but the baby's due in early next year, and she said when they got, she desperately needs if they cannot get this tax credit extended, she said, my husband and I both cannot afford health care. So she will get health care for herself and her baby and pray her husband doesn't get sick. I was at the University of Michigan talking to a group of doctors, and a mother on an elevator recognized me and burst into tears. And her child was in a wheelchair and said to me, promise me, you won't let my child die. You will make sure that he can still come here and get the health care that he needs. These are real people's lives, little ones like this. Children should be, every person in America should be able to go to the doctor when you need to go to the doctor and afford the medicine you need. That's what we got to work for. This is something we cannot leave Washington until we do. Let's work together. We've got the discharge petition. Now let's go get it done.
Save the ACA! Save the ACA! Save the ACA! Louder. All right. Our next speaker is a member of Congress who has been working the other representatives from her state to get one of the Republicans, to sign on to the discharge petition. She has been a fighter for health care in this country as long as she's been in Congress, and before that, when she was organizing back home. It's my honor to welcome Representative Summer Lee from Pennsylvania.
Man. Oh my goodness. First of all, I don't need it, but but you know what? We like everybody to be able to hear it because we want folks to hear our message. First of all, I came here expecting like your run-of-the-mill congressional press conference, and I don't really like those all like that. And what we got is what we actually need. Right now, we need folks to be here in the face of all of my colleagues, reminding them what's at stake, because the reality is that it's life or death for people who are here today. It's life or death for people in our districts, but it's a game. It's a game to people who we elected. So I'm here right now because I know, like you know, that this is beyond urgent, right? It can't be overstated how urgent this crisis is right now. And we know that this was a crisis before we got to this pitfall, right? Before that, we had folks who are already rationing care in the wealthiest nation on the earth. We have people already in our communities who have to choose between whether or not they're going to pay for their cancer medicine or their diabetes medicine, or if they're going to keep a roof over their head, or if they're going to be able to feed their babies. This isn't choices that people make in a society that has as much wealth as we have, a society that is actively choosing to leave the most marginalized, the most vulnerable. And we're here to say that we have to act right now. We're here to say that right now we can make a decision to actually prioritize the people of America. In my district, and it isn't just my district, I like Debbie and so many others, we talk to people in our districts, right? People who are going to say, I have one person whose health care is going to go up from $204 a month to $1,100. We have others, a small business owner, right? In this country, we say that we want small business owners. We want people to go out and pursue entrepreneurial dreams. We want people to be able to go out into the world and work and take care of their communities, triple with their health care. Their health care would triple. And I'm here to say that we can do multiple things, that we have to care for the immediate crisis of the ACA subsidies expiring, but also we should be fighting for Medicare for all. We should be fighting urgently for a system where whoever you are, no matter your zip code or your background or your party, that you should have health care in this country, the wealthiest country on earth. So right now, we're at 218 with the discharge petition. We're there. Which means that we have bipartisan support now to make sure that Americans don't have to choose life or death, right? All we need is for Mike Johnson to bring a vote. All we need is for Mike Johnson right now. We're here for the next 2 days, which should stop him from bringing a vote, right? If Republicans care about their own constituents, this isn't a Democrat problem. It ain't a Republican party. It's not an independent party. This is a uniquely American problem that on January 1st, millions of Americans would be imperiled the way we are. We can fix it right now. So we're here to demand a vote. We're here to demand that the Congress does its one duty, which is to take care of the citizens of the United States of America. And I'm here standing in solidarity with you. I'll be screaming in solidarity with you on the House floor. And we'll be fighting until every American is insured. Every American can afford the care that they deserve. So thank you all so much for being with us. Thank you for having us, and we'll keep on fighting through this.
We demand a vote. We demand a vote. We demand a vote. We demand a vote. We demand a vote now. We demand a vote. We demand a vote. We demand a vote. It's a special time of year, right? It's a holiday time. It's Hanukkah right now. We're going into Christmas and Kwanzaa and the New Year. And there is an opportunity for people who call themselves Christians, people who believe in the right to life, to give us a little gift, to give us the ability to get health care. Or they can choose a billionaire tax break over the lives of everybody in this country. We've seen them do it before. They have one chance right now to redeem themselves, and we are hoping that they will give us that vote. Mike Johnson will give us that vote. It's my honor to introduce Anna Aurelio, who is the Senior Campaigns Director for Economic Security Project.
Hi, all. Anna Aurelio, Economic Security Project. I have 3 messages today. This is a story about a hoax, a heist, and hope. Okay, so first and foremost, nearly half of all Americans are struggling to afford housing, food, groceries, and health care. The Republican leadership and Donald Trump's response is to call it a hoax. You know what's a hoax? Is the Republicans' health care plan. Plan number 1 was to take $1 trillion, cut it from health care, and hand it to tax breaks to billionaires and wealthy corporations. It's not right. That's a health care heist. So what's the hoax here? What's the hope here? The hope is that all of you who've been showing up relentlessly, and I've been doing these events with you and bringing your kids and telling your stories and showing up at congressional offices and getting the word out there, you have put enough public pressure that at least 4 Republicans have now signed on to the Jeffries discharge petition. And the hope is that they will now vote to force a vote now on the House floor. We can't afford to wait anymore. The deadline for open enrollment for January 1st is already over. It was Monday. We need to extend these tax credits now so that millions of Americans don't see their health care costs double or even triple. And ultimately, we need to use the movement and the power of all your stories to make sure that our elected officials understand healthcare is a right. No one should have to decide between paying for medication or keeping a roof over their head, paying for the utility bill and keeping the lights on, or paying for healthcare. That's outrageous. So let's stop the healthcare heist. Let's call a hoax, and let's hold out hope and work really, really hard to bring this over the finish line. Thank you very much.
Healthcare is a human right. 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 I said today that I was excited to be here because we have had this little bit of a victory where we got enough signatures on the discharge petition to actually have a vote to extend these subsidies before Congress breaks for the holidays. But obviously, this is an incredibly sad time to be coming together, a reason to be coming together, because there are people in this room who are literally today choosing to be here to fight for their health care instead of being home getting the treatment that they need to stay alive. Somebody canceled their appointment today, their surgical appointment today, just to come here and to be able to tell their story. Someone who has come here nearly every week to tell their healthcare story and to explain what they're going through and how they're not going to be able to survive if we do not get these tax credits extended, is Asia Betancourt from Vocal, New York, who is on the Affordable Care Act. Asia has been here time and time again, telling her story over and over and over again to every single member of Congress who will listen. She's been roaming these halls, going into offices, and telling people what she's going through.
And I'm absolutely fighting for my own life. My name is Asia Betancourt, and I've been a community advocate for 40 years. I was there when we won the ACA. We got access. I cannot tell you how many people I knew personally who were able to see a doctor for the first time. It was the first time I felt a smile for society, that people in Washington actually cared a little bit about us. Maybe just a little bit. And then they do this crap. These cuts to the ACA are killing us literally killing us. I've been positive 40 years, okay? My medication was cut in half before this crap started. So it's not just that. They've been poking at the bear for a long time. Everything has gone up. My premiums, my copay, my deductibles, they cut the medication. I've been on for 40 years, like I said. You gave us this coverage to improve the quality of our lives. Now you're going to take it away? The changes they're making to people who are HIV positive, you're going to need to be really sick to get any help. Let me repeat that again. You got to get so daggone sick that maybe you're not going to be able to bounce back because they don't want to help. They want us dead. They don't want us to live. I will go to the doctor more often if I could. These cuts have been devastating, gradually pulling the rug from under us. They keep chipping away at different parts of each program, a little here, a little there, and then suddenly you can't afford your medication, you can't see your doctor, you can't get the care you need. Listen, even the hospitals are scared to book appointments right now, and that's a fact. Because they don't know how or when they're going to get paid. How can you make a business run like that? How can they take care of us? This is a collapse of our medical system. There's no more gas left to run. The rural areas that depend on a little bit of help from the ACA and Medicaid, they're going to lose everything. And that ain't right. This is our daggone lives on the line. I don't care how many times you hear it. It is fact. They do not care about us. And we better be that voice today and save our own lives.
Save the ACA! 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 We're privileged to be joined by another tireless fighter for not only the Affordable Care Act, but also for Medicare for All, someone who knows and understands that healthcare is a human right and that we should all be given healthcare. This is not only a luxury for rich people. Every single person in this country should be able to access health care. We're the richest country, one of the richest countries in the world. We have enough money to make sure that every single person has access to the Affordable Care Act, to a health care system that makes sense. It's my honor to introduce Representative Rashida Tlaib from Michigan.
You all did this. We got 218 today. Do you know how rare it is to get to 218? So this is probably my second or third time seeing it. Once it was with the Epstein files, and then next it was about protecting our unions and collective bargaining, and now it's to protect health care for the American people. So congratulations. You know, I come from the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, the city of Detroit, where community mothers have taught me it isn't me or members of Congress that lead to transformative change. It isn't the President of the United States, little sis, that it wakes up one day and says this is the good thing to do, or this is the right thing to do. It's when people from the outside push in. So thank you so much. Do you all know when we got to 218, two other Republicans wanted to sign on and it was too late because they closed it up. They close it up, but what that means is I hope they will help us move this quick. I don't want to wait for the 7-day cooling period. We can force the vote today. So this is 4 million Americans. You know, it's probably more you all. Like, sometimes I think they undercount because I know that there's so many folks that, again, depend on ACA that is in the shadows that we don't know about. But one of the things that I think is critically important here for everyone to know is, you know, they snap their fingers like this when it comes to the rich, the donors, and those folks at the top. Us, look at us. We had to beg our government to keep tax credits to help working class Americans. People, you know, those that are underinsured. We had to beg them, little sis, like beg them to actually give us health insurance, health care. I mean, it's just ridiculous because we all know the ACA isn't where it's at only. We need universal health care in our country. We need to fix what's going on at the pharmacies with those management companies. You all know it. They're shutting down independent pharmacies right now because corporate greed is rampant within our healthcare system. It is sick care. It isn't health care. And right now we had to beg just for this Band-Aid that still is out there. You got something better? Propose it. But don't be kicking people off of healthcare coverage while you're trying to figure it out. And so shame on Trump, shame on those that continue to again politicize this. You know, folks are sick from all different likes. It isn't, you know, Republican, Democrat, you all know this. And you know, for me, I got probably less. I know for a fact, actually, I got 38% folks on Medicaid, less on ACA, but my Republican colleagues have a lot more than I do. Yet they're out there holding the line, not wanting to give tax credits for American people, families that are sick, and many of them, again, forced to get on Affordable Care Act because the for-profit scheme out there is preventing them from accessing health care. But they do the tax credits for corporations, billionaires, the snap of their finger with no hesitation. And they're not even ashamed about it. And that's what's so sick. They don't even hide it. Exactly. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, there are a lot of Michigan families that they can't be up here. And I know an organizing machine here that is helping people come up here, but your voices matter. Your community members, again, that can lead to transformative change through your stories, through really what is happening on the ground. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I sat there in caucus so angry. You know, I said, oh God, we only need 3 more. And there was some Democrat trying to get people not to sign it. They're trying to cut a deal with this 2-year agreement. You guys don't know the ins and outs. That's the thing. I wish people would talk about it. But guess what? Guess what? While we were in there arguing, boom, like a dominoes effect, they all came down to them. I know for a fact one of them signed it right in front of Speaker Johnson. So we can thank them, but this is not enough. They need to force a vote. That's right. You want, if you're for real on this, call the vote. Let's get it done. We can't wait until, you know, after we come back. These are Americans that we're talking about thousands of dollars for folks. You know, I'm on the Affordable Care Act as well exchange. A lot of people don't realize, you know, I'm not one of the millionaire members of Congress. And so we have to go on the Affordable Care Act exchange and I watched and I asked, you know, because I started really paying attention more and more. And just even the slight increase for me, I just thought, wow, is there another single mom out there that I mean, she won't be able to afford this. You know, can you imagine? And so even though it's like, God, it's a big hit, but I just can't imagine that hit on someone that is, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to this little sis being out here with her mama and everybody, because this is how we humanize it. This is how we make sure that people understand it's not the folks in Congress that you need to be listening to and the donors. It's the people right here behind me. So thank you from keep it up. I mean, you guys, 218 today. Huge win. You see, I know, it's huge. And they still wanted to sign it. And we're like, nope, the way it works is 218, we got it done. But hey, you can go down and help us force a vote if you want to make it up. Yeah, thank you again. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you do. 218. 218.
218.
I know that this is being live streamed, and I just want to talk to everyone on the live stream that is not able to be here. I want to ask all of you to right now call the Capitol switchboard. You can Google the phone number. Maybe someone will yell it out to me in a second. You can call that phone number, and you can get patched through to your Congress members, and you can ask them to go and vote. Demand that there's a floor vote today. Tell Speaker Johnson that there must be a floor vote today. We're going to be here. And we're going to, after this press conference, walk around and talk to members of Congress and tell them our stories. There are people here who are, you know, paying 100% more for their Affordable Care Act, and they have serious medical conditions, and they want to be able to talk to the people in power. You probably also have these stories. Share them with your member of Congress. Doesn't matter who answers the phone. Tell the whole story. Read out the bill to them. And right now, we're going to hear from someone else who is going to turn pain into power. We're going to hear from Nathan from Arkansas Community Organization, who's going to tell us why he's here fighting. So many members. Nathan, so many members. So many members of Arkansas Community Organization have been here week in and week out, telling their healthcare stories about Medicaid, trying to fight against the Medicaid cuts, which unfortunately went through, and now are here trying to save the Affordable Care Act. Thank you. Thank you.
So my name's Nathan. I'm 27 years old. I work for a small nonprofit. I can't always afford health insurance, and so I went for about a year without any coverage before I got on the ACA market. And I used it when I got sick, and I got to get checkups that I absolutely would have skipped if I did not have the ACA. I got a plan for $15 a month. It wasn't amazing, but it was affordable. And if I keep that same plan, next year it would go up to $140 a month. And as a relatively young, healthy person, I would probably rather go without than pay that much more for my coverage. But I know that when people like me drop out, that's only going to make it more expensive for the people who really rely on the marketplace to afford health care that keeps them and their families alive. And I organize in low-income and working-class communities in Arkansas, so I meet people every day tell me about their premiums doubling and tripling. Families and parents are having their coverage jump up to well over $1,000. And it's so heartbreaking to see that every single day. I want to be able to help them, but I just have to be there to explain, why it's going that bad, and ask them if they have the ability to come with and fight to prevent these things from happening. It's shameful, it's embarrassing that we are here in the richest country in the world, but we cannot be bothered to ensure that working families can afford to keep themselves healthy and alive. So I'm calling on all of these Arkansas representatives, Hill, Crawford, Womack, and Westerman, to please not vote against the ACA, especially for one of the poorest states in the country. We have so many people that rely on this. It's honestly more of an issue in the red states than the blue states. So please, vote to keep your constituents alive.
I know that this is obvious to, most people probably, but I have heard some members of Congress talk about the Affordable Care Act as a handout to people who are, and sort of imply that they're lazy. But we know that actually, that's bullshit, but we know that actually when you're accessing the Affordable Care Act, it's because you're earning some money and you're probably working more than one job. We're gonna hear right now from Nancy Regenball, who's from United for Respect, who has worked at Amazon and other places and is an Affordable Care Act recipient from Georgia. Nancy?
All right, y'all, you ready? Ready? Everybody ready? All right. So earlier today, I had to walk about a mile and a half from the hotel to the church where we were meeting, and I had to do this because I had to kick up some energy, because I was all over the place with my emotions, with all these changes going on. But I have a voice. And I learned that I had a voice back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, when we were dealing with a virus that had no name. It was killing people, regardless of their sexuality. In 1989, it was the leading cause of death for men from the ages of 25 to 44. There was no mention of women. This is how I learned how to speak up. I surrounded myself by people who were not afraid to speak up.
Yes. That's right.
With my knowledge came empowerment. With empowerment came strength to stand on my feet. Standing on my feet came stomping my feet. And I started marching. Because then I found that I kept using my voice to get louder. And I kept stomping my feet. Since then, things have changed. People in place, policies, medications, laws have changed. Health insurance has changed. People with the virus are living longer. So my voice kind of settled down. But I sure the heck don't want to go back to that time period. Then in 2017, I started working for Amazon. First couple of years, I was inside the warehouse, learning different positions. And then I challenged myself to be on the transportation side as a truck driver. That's right. I was driving a tractor trailer around Atlanta, Georgia. And let me tell you, that 285 around Atlanta, Georgia, and it's got 3 areas where it is rated the most dangerous intersections in the country. I kept challenging myself. My coworkers and I were speaking out about health-related issues, about pay, and even health insurance, because their prices kept going up. Why? Amazon is a $1 trillion company. An area where very few companies reach in the world. And if I get in an accident in Atlanta, this is going to be life-changing for many people involved, especially those who do not have health insurance. So with my knowledge came empowerment. With empowerment came strength to stand on my feet. Standing on my feet came to stomping my feet. Stomping my feet brought me to marching. The last couple of years, I dealt with interrogation, retaliation, and surveillance from Amazon. Eventually, I had to deal with the termination. Because I used only my fingertips to kill a mosquito on the side of my supervisor's head. But then a month later, myself, my coworker, the labor board, and a whole stack of documents, we got Amazon on surveillance, retaliation, and interrogation. We spoke up, we stood on our feet, and we are still standing. Even though I may not be there any longer, I still know my coworkers are sleeping in their cars because they had to make cuts. They had to make cuts to have a roof over their head, and they're giving that up and sleeping in their cars. I'm with another company now. And their benefits for their health insurance was too expensive. I couldn't afford it by myself. And it's very ironic to me that their open enrollment ends a day before the ACA open enrollment. I mean, really, why can't I shop around? Why can't I shop around for health insurance just like I do auto insurance? If I don't like this company, I could go with this company. The American people have the right to be able to pick and choose what company they want to be with but health insurance. The energy is changing in this country. You could feel it. But we need to lean on our faith. We have amazing civil rights leaders in the past. John Lewis got to good trouble. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who believed in universal health care for all. Barbara Rose Johns. They all did the footwork to get the people in place to make changes. They believed. They got stronger. They learned from each other. And now we have to do the same. So my question for the politicians: how is your health insurance coverage?
Ask Kennedy, he'll throw his glasses down and his pencil will break.
Because if this health insurance is good enough for each of you, then it should be good enough for me and the American people.
That's right.
Because let me tell you, my job as a truck driver is not any less important than yours.
You're the breadwinner. We wouldn't be to the grocery store if it wasn't for you.
Amen, sister. For the politicians, it's a hard time. May each of you have the serenity to accept the things that you cannot change, but have the courage to change the things you can.
Thank you. Save the ACA! Save the ACA! Save the ACA!
Save the ACA! Save the ACA! Save the ACA! Save the ACA! I'm going to speak again to the folks on the live stream. I know that so many of you have a healthcare story to share with your member of Congress. I want you to call the Capitol Switchboard at 202-224-3121. That's 202-224-3121. Introduce yourself, say where you're from, and then tell them your whole healthcare story. Tell them how much your premiums are going to go up. Tell them about the choices that you have to make between food or healthcare, rent or healthcare. Keep talking. Don't let them hang up, and demand that they support a vote today. All 218 of those Congress members who signed that discharge petition, which means those 4 members of the Republican Party, have to vote to actually have a vote today. So we're going to be here. We're going to be walking around the halls of Congress. We're going to be sharing some of the stories that you've heard and more with anybody who will listen. And we're going to demand that they vote today to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And they can do it. Save the ACA! Save the ACA! Save the ACA! Save the ACA! Save the ACA!
Save the ACA! Now! Save the ACA! Now! Save the ACA! Now! Save the ACA!
Yeah, after. Wait,
Save the ACA! Now!
All right. Do we have anyone else who wants to share a story? Yeah. All right. So we're going to hear from Jen Coffey from Rights and Democracy, New Hampshire. No, Rights and Democracy, New Hampshire. You looked in. Okay. Yes, absolutely.
Hi, guys. My name is Jen Coffey, and I am from Manchester, New Hampshire. I thought fighting insurance companies was bad enough, but this is a nightmare brought on by Republicans. They don't give a care and seem to have no idea what it's like to choose between food and medicine.
Yeah, that part.
Johnson said no vote unless they make more cuts, because the cuts they just made to Medicare and Medicaid are not enough. Hey, bullshit. Johnson, how about you make those cuts from your Cadillac health plan?
That's right.
We pay for that, your Cadillac health plan, with our tax dollars. It's time Congress made cuts to themselves and stopped stealing from working families who foot the bills that they make. Now I stand here in the oldest House office building. We are here carrying the stories of millions whose lives are on the line because of our own government that is failing them and failing to represent the working class. They are turning their backs on the nearly 50,000 people in my home state of New Hampshire who in 2 weeks will lose access to the medications and the treatments that they need to live. Millions of people across the country are facing losing their health care, and it is 100% the fault of Republicans on the Hill. Their refusal to vote to lower our monthly bills speaks volumes in light of the hundreds of thousands of dollars they voted to give themselves. I'm sickened by the grotesque greed that is taking American lives. How do people afford hundreds of dollars more in monthly premiums? Their salaries did not go up, but their grocery bills have. Now utility bills are insane on top of it all. Mine more than doubled. And all Republicans want to do is, quote, give, end quote, us back $2,000 of our own tax dollars and call it a day.
That ain't right.
How the hell does that lower our monthly bills? It doesn't. It's a bribe made by millionaires in hopes of shutting us up so we just die off quietly. With $2,000 they can't even use to pay the damn premium. They think bribery will be enough to curb your discomfort when an asthmatic can't get their life-saving inhalers, when a cancer patient loses access to chemo, when it's your own loved one who could have lived if only they had had access to health care. Health care shouldn't be for just the privileged, but it is what is being created right now. Health care for privilege. You're killing off those of us with incurable ailments, some caused by genetics you don't control, letting the disabled suffer and our grandparents die in shameful conditions. While they're dining on caviar, we starve on food prices the highest we've ever seen. Multi-million-dollar ballrooms are more important than American lives. Our people have been starved out. Now they're going to lose even more. This is not left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. This is rich versus poor. The haves trying to take more from the have-nots. While they steal our Medicare DAX dollars, they give it to their rich buddies. The insurance company got the bigliest raise they've ever gotten this year. In return, they raised our premiums, they cut care, they increased the deductibles. We pay for their jets, their mansions, their five-star hotel stays while we're rationing insulin. It's grotesque greed that's killing. Americans with millions more lined up are dying, they're suffering, and beginning in 2 weeks, even more.
Thank you. Say, is a human right. Healthcare 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 is a human right. They're banking on us having short-term memory loss. They think that we can't remember the bad old days when people who were 27 years old mostly didn't have insurance because they couldn't afford it and they were off their parents' plans. They think that we can't remember the days when people who would lose their jobs would not be able to get health care and would go years without having health coverage. They think that we can't remember the thousands of people who would swarm town halls and for years talk about the desperate need to have a healthcare system that was affordable for everyone. But we can. We remember, many of us are HIV activists who come up in the movement fighting for healthcare. Many of us are cancer survivors or have family members who have cancer and who went through making the hard decision between getting health care coverage, getting the health care that they needed or being able to pay their rent or buy food. Is Representative Chu here? No? Okay, thanks. Sorry. So we are going to wrap up this press conference with a couple chants. Is he coming? Or is he? Okay. And then I want everyone again at home and here, pull out your phones. Let's call the Capitol switchboard and demand that they support Representative McGovern on the floor with 218 votes so that we can actually vote to get the Affordable Care Act extended. And I want to personally thank every single person who is here, who has been here week in and week out, speaking their truth to power and telling their stories, because it is because of you that we have had this unimaginable victory today. I mean, let's be real. No one actually thought that we could get the discharge petition with 218 signatures. So we did the damn thing. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. Woo! Save the ACA. TA. Save the ACA. Save the ACA. Save the ACA! Save the ACA! All right, everybody, thank you! You can keep live streaming.
This is directly to my members of HIV, the worldwide epidemic. I am Asia. I am your administrator. 2, 3, and 4, I need you guys to pick them phones up, call the Capitol. If you can't get through, DM me ASAP, and I will direct you. But we need your story, we need your voice, all hands on deck, and I love you.
Your administrator has spoken.